guys, welcome back to the week of Mortgage Matters in Minutes. I'm your host and owner of Mortgage Specialist Brent Rasmussen. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that we get quite often, each and every week, it seems anymore. What's better, or going through a mortgage company, a bank, a broker, or a credit union? So, we're going to talk about the little differences of them and what it means to you as the consumer or you as the real estate agent referring different loan officers. Because I think there's a big misnomer out there of where you work makes the enormous difference in what kind of financing you get. And sometimes mortgage loan officers will twist or throw out some things that they can do that other people cannot do. So let's just chat about it here real quick and kind of talk about the difference between a mortgage broker, a bank, a mortgage company, and a credit union. In essence, all of these places go by the same federal laws that exist in mortgage lending, such as RESPA law, Truth in Lending law, Homeowners Protection Act, Equal Credit Opportunity Act, Fair Housing Administration. So all these different laws, all of us have to overcome and view. So let's first talk about the mortgage broker as a individual, and that name has kind of gotten a little bit of a negative connotation through the years because the media after 2008, a lot of mortgage brokers gave away subprime loans. Also, banks, credit unions, and mortgage companies did the very much the same. But mortgage brokers got a little bit of the rap in regards to a negative connotation. And really, what a mortgage broker is one that works as an intermediary between the borrower and the lender. So they bring a borrower and a lender together and receive a compensation. Everything else happens the same way. Banks, credit unions, mortgage companies do the exact same thing. So a mortgage broker basically doesn't have their own money to give away, but they line up a mortgage company, lender, bank, institution with a borrower and help facilitate the transaction, the process. A lot of times, what's good about a mortgage broker is they might have multiple different lenders to go through and channels of types of financing to go through. Most of us, as we've chatted for weeks and weeks about conventional Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, USDA, and NIFA, all these loans exist that are out there for mortgage people to present and offer to their clients. Sometimes mortgage brokers may have some unique products, such as bank statement loans or special investment property financing, or they might have access just to individuals that give out their own money to bring the loan for someone to get it accomplished and finished. So, again, the mortgage broker, the company itself, doesn't make as much difference. And we're going to find a common theme here among all these different institutions is the mortgage loan originator. If myself went to a bank, credit union, mortgage company, or mortgage broker, I still would provide the exact same process, systems, and education I do to all my clients. So, as a mortgage broker, does it matter? Sure. The biggest thing you want to understand about mortgage brokers is there's multiple options. So, next, let's talk about traditional banks. And I can share with you through the years, banks have dominated the mortgage industry. And lately, we're seeing more and more banks getting out of the mortgage industry. One large Midwest bank here, that's probably the largest out of our Omaha area, just recently decided to shrink and seize most of their mortgage department, at least the outside salesmen that worked underneath the branches and all over the community. And we've seen the same thing happen with Wells Fargo back in the 90s and early 2000s. They dominated the market and doing nearly half of all mortgage loans that are out there. So banks have their niche as well too. Some people feel that if you go to the bank, they know you better, they give you a loan. But mortgage banks have to go off of the exact same rules that everybody does as mortgage lenders, as credit unions, and also as mortgage companies. So the banks have made a little bit of a change. It used to be a large national bank, had a very large mortgage process. And it seems like here locally, more of the banks have shrunk their mortgage department down, and mortgage companies are getting quite a bit larger. Banks also will be able to do loans that no one else will be able to do. Generally, if you don't qualify, but you have lots of assets or you have lots of money tied in that bank, there's ways that they're able to create an in-house loan or maybe a large jumbo loan that's over the thresholds of conventional financing. So banks do have a specific niche. They follow the exact same rules that All different entities do, but they do have a little bit of niche, and a lot of people like working underneath a bank because of the stability, the number of branches, the longevity. And some consumers feel like if I have my checking and savings account there, why not have my mortgage there as well too? Okay. Next is the mortgage lender themselves. So, what's the difference between a mortgage broker and a mortgage lender? Well, generally speaking, the mortgage lender funds their own loans. Here at Mortgage Specialists, we are a mortgage lender. We're not affiliated with one particular investor that we sell to, but we fund loans and sell the loans off to different companies. We look and feel a lot like a mortgage broker as well too. So, just to give you understanding, those that follow us, what a mortgage lender is, there's lots of them across the country. CMG, Guaranteed Rate, Veterans United. There's lots of different mortgage companies, and generally they may not be an actual bank themselves, but they're a large mortgage conglomerate that work in a lot of different states across the U.S. and have many, many different loan officers. What's challenging in all this is some people feel that going to a certain mortgage lender is better than a different mortgage lender. And this is where it gets really challenging and tough for consumers, is because there's lots of different advertisements and conversations that happen. And what I again would suggest to you, whether it's a mortgage broker, banker, or a mortgage company, the mortgage loan officer, and knowing them, trusting them, working together with them, and how much experience and knowledge they have is ever so much more important than the actual company or the organization of where you're getting your mortgage from. Last, besides mortgage lenders, there's credit unions, and credit unions also have a very viable interest. They get money a little bit differently from the standard sources that we've talked about before, but in essence, they're still looking at the same type of loan programs that we've chatted about through the years: conventional, FHA, VA, USDA. But credit unions sometimes also, like banks, will make up their own products due to Community Reinvestment Act or having money that they want to just lend out themselves. They'll be able to put that out there to individuals that qualify and make up their own mortgage rules. So now you've learned a little bit more about each different entity. Again, my suggestion is mortgage loan officer always wins, because the reason we see this is when you contact someone from online, who could be a mortgage company, a bank, a mortgage broker, we've heard more negative stories about those situations than anybody that's local in the community. Because an online lender, you're not going to be there the next day, or they don't care if something goes wrong, or they tell you incorrect information, because they're not going to be exposed to you face to face and personally the rest of their life. So online lenders can be any of the sorts that we talked about, but I will share with you, pick a mortgage loan officer that works well with you, that has a respect for you, that wants to provide education and service and answer their phone and answer any questions that you have, because purchasing a home and taking out a mortgage is sometimes the biggest investment you'll ever take out, besides maybe your retirement accounts, but definitely it's the most expensive purchase that you will make in your lifetime, until you become super rich and buy a yacht or something else of that sort. Buying a home is very monumental in individuals' financial lives. And having someone that understands it, that's been through it, that knows the rules and knows how to make the process as best as possible. I would suggest the same thing for you when it comes to real estate agents and realtors, is that use the person, not the company that the person works for. The person that has the license is the one that's the expert. The company might have a process, they might help with compliance and rules and keeping things together, and paying payroll and paying bills and all those different things, but you're not dealing with HR. You're not dealing with their accounts receivable or accounts payable. You're dealing with the person that understands the mortgage process or the real estate process. And that's the person that you want trusted to work with you to get the best deal at the end of the day. I can share with you again, we've seen all kinds of crazy interest rate quotes, closing cost quotes, special loan programs that are all over the board. Just because there's some special does not mean it's the best for you. It also might mean that there's a catch, there's something else going on, like a lower interest rate costing you much more than a normal transaction would. Knowing that we might see refinancing coming back again, paying that extra cost or that unique type of loan might not make sense. But there's no perfect place to get your mortgage loan. We'd love for you to choose us here at Mortgage Specialists. but we understand our competitors and they're friends of ours and they're people in the community that we know do a great job as well. And they all work at different places, such as mortgage brokers, at banks, at credit unions, at mortgage companies, all of the above. But seek out the individual that you like to work with because the company or the entity that you're getting your mortgage doesn't make much difference. I hope you learned a little bit here today. And check us out at Mortgage Specialist anytime on our website at mtg-specialist.com. If you like and enjoy this information, feel free to subscribe to us below and check us out each and every week. We hope you have a great rest of your day and rest of your week, and we'll see you very soon. Mortgage Specialists. Driven, trusted, reliable.